When you think about an industrial plant, what comes to mind? Probably those massive, critical machines, the turbines, compressors, and pumps. They're the absolute heart of the operation, a multi-million-dollar investment that keeps everything running. But what if I told you the single biggest threat to that incredible asset isn't some huge, obvious mechanical failure? What if it's something you can't even see? We're talking about microscopic particles, tiny bits of moisture hiding deep inside the lubrication system, just waiting to cause some really catastrophic damage. So, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on this unseen threat. We'll get into why it matters so much, talk about an expert solution, walk through their four-phase process, and then look at the hard data that proves it all works. Okay, first up, let's really expose this hidden enemy that's lurking inside your systems. Think about this for a second. Before a brand new, top-of-the-line turbine or compressor is even turned on for the first time, its lubrication system is often already full of junk. Yeah, from the moment it was built, debris is already in there, threatening the machine before day one. And we're not just talking about a little bit of dust here. The real villains are things like mill scale from manufacturing, leftover welding residue, tiny rust particles, and gunk that gets in during storage. This is the stuff that starts circulating through critical bearings the moment you hit the on switch. I know what you might be thinking. Come on, they're microscopic. How much damage can they really do? Well, that's an excellent question, and it brings us to our next really crucial point. This is where we connect those tiny, invisible specks to massive plant-stopping failures. And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. So here's the bottom line. Those contaminants are a direct line to premature bearing failure. They cause more vibration, they tear away at that essential hydrodynamic film, that super thin layer of oil that keeps metal from grinding on metal, and it all leads to expensive, unscheduled downtime. In other words, it just kills your reliability. And it isn't just solid particles we have to worry about. Water is another silent killer in these systems. It doesn't matter if it's free, emulsified, or dissolved in the oil, it just wreaks havoc. It weakens the oil's film strength, causes rust on the inside, and can even mess with your sensitive control systems. All right, so when you're up against these kinds of hidden threats, you can't just use a generic approach. You need a specialized solution, and this is where a dedicated contamination control service is an absolute game changer. Clean Oil Services is a perfect example, a division built from the ground up to tackle this exact problem. Their entire focus is on contamination control, and they bring years of field experience to the table to make sure your oil systems are clean, dry, and ready to run reliably. And they're not a one-trick pony. They've got a whole toolkit. We're talking high-velocity flushing to knock debris loose, oil conditioning and dehydration to get the oil quality back up, and all of it followed by analysis and verification. It's a complete start-to-finish solution. Now, here's what really makes a difference: the team itself. These aren't just guys who know how to run a pump. They're specialists who actually understand hydraulics and rotating equipment. They get how your machinery works, and that is a huge deal. So, how do they actually pull it off? How do they get these incredible results? Well, it all comes down to a really disciplined four-phase process. It all kicks off with a detailed site assessment to build a custom plan. Then they prep the system, isolating circuits to get the flow just right. Step 3 is the main event, the high-velocity flush, which they're monitoring the whole time. And finally, and this is the most important part, they verify everything with hard data before they even think about signing off on the job. Let's just hang on that term for a sec. High-velocity flushing. This is not just circulating oil around in a loop. No way. This is about creating a turbulent flow. It's like the difference between rinsing a dish with a gentle stream and blasting it with a pressure washer. That turbulence is what actually scours the inside of your pipes and knocks all that stubborn gunk loose. And to get that kind of turbulent flow, you need some serious hardware. They use these advanced mobile flushing skids. This is specialized equipment, engineered to efficiently clean out massive, complex systems, and they bring it right to your site. Now, having a great process is one thing, but for any engineer or plant manager listening, the only thing that really matters is proof, right? This is where the whole data-driven approach really shines. Their whole philosophy is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. There is zero guesswork. A system isn't clean just because they ran the flush for a certain number of hours. It's clean when the objective data from the oil analysis proves it's clean, period. And they put their money where their mouth is. They back this up with a clear promise. Every single project is completed with a documented ISO 4406 cleanliness report. That's the international standard, giving you verifiable, black and white proof that your system is up to snuff. And this, right here, is the transformation we're talking about. You go from this incredibly complex piece of machinery with who knows what hiding inside to a system that is certified clean. You get the crystal clear oil sample and, more importantly, the data report to prove it. So let's just boil this all down. What's the big takeaway for you? It's pretty straightforward. When you tackle contamination head-on like this, you extend the life of your equipment, you slash the risk of that horrible unscheduled downtime, you make sure startups are safe and reliable, and you meet all your OEM warranty specs. And that really just leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. When you look at your own operations, can you say with 100% certainty that your critical equipment is truly ready for the long haul? Look, if there's even a shadow of a doubt, that's when you call in the experts. Because making sure your system is clean isn't just a cost, it's one of the best investments in reliability you can make.